You know, artificial intelligence has this incredible potential to solve some of humanity's biggest, thorniest problems. But, and it's a big but, that potential comes with a huge challenge. How in the world do we regulate it? How do we build guardrails that keep us safe without accidentally crushing the very innovation we need? Honestly, getting this balance right is one of the most important things we'll do in our lifetimes. So, let's dive in.
Okay, take a look at this quote. It really just nails the central problem here. It says that, even when we have the best intentions, government regulation can backfire, leading to, and I'm quoting here, artificially creating scarcity, raising costs, and slowing progress. This is the core tension, the big puzzle we're trying to solve today.
So who do you think said that? The first thing that probably pops into your head is a tech CEO, right? Someone worried about their bottom line. Or maybe a big pro-business lobby group from Washington, D.C. It has that kind of free market ring to it, doesn't it?
Well, here's the twist. The source is actually Open Philanthropy. This is an organization focused on things like global health and well-being, inspired by people like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. And that's what's so fascinating. It shows this isn't some simple left versus right political fight. It's a much deeper question about how we make sure we keep moving forward as a species.
And this brings us to what I think of as the progress paradox. We're in this really rare, really interesting moment where people from totally different ends of the political spectrum actually agree on something. That bad, clunky, outdated regulation is a massive threat. And you know what? That consensus, that's a huge opportunity to get AI policy right from the very beginning.
So let's get to the heart of it. The real problem is what happens when you try to apply old rules that were written for a completely different world, to brand new, fast-moving technology like AI. The results can get, well, they can get pretty absurd. Let me give you a perfect example of this. So there's this old, very sensible law that says if a trucker pulls over, they have to put warning triangles on the road. Makes total sense. But what happens when that truck is fully autonomous, with no driver? Well, the way the law is written, you might actually have to pay someone to just ride along in a self-driving truck, doing nothing, just in case it stops so they can get out and place the triangles. It's a textbook case of what experts call regulatory calcification, where the rules just get old and stiff.
Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we avoid these ridiculous situations? Well, the first big idea is to build laws that can actually adapt over time. Think of it like software that gets regular updates, laws designed from day one to not become obsolete. Let's look at how that could work.
We have two really clever tools for this: sunset and sunrise clauses. A sunset clause is basically a best by date on a law. It automatically expires after, say, 5 or 10 years, unless lawmakers actively look at it and decide to renew it. It forces a checkup. Now, a sunrise clause is kind of the opposite. A new law can't even take effect until the government agency in charge proves it actually has the staff and resources to enforce it. No more rushed, half-baked laws.
All right, our second solution sounds almost too simple, but it is incredibly powerful. It's the idea of giving our existing laws a regular checkup to see if they still make any sense in the world we live in today. And when this is actually done right, the results are just mind-blowing. One big study found that when 22 federal agencies sat down and seriously reviewed their old regulations, they ended up changing or just flat out getting rid of them a staggering 90% of the time. That just shows you how much outdated junk is sitting on the books. And we're not talking about small potatoes here. The savings are measured in billions. For example, the Department of Labor saved manufacturers $2.5 billion over 5 years. And how'd they do it? They just updated the rules for chemical hazard labels to match the ones everyone else in the world was using. Simple.
And it gets even bigger. The Department of Health and Human Services saved hospitals an incredible $5 billion over 5 years. Their fix? Just streamlining some of the really burdensome reporting requirements they had to deal with.
Here's another one. The EPA saved the dairy industry $650 million. All they did was get rid of rules that were already covered by the Department of Agriculture anyway. It just proves that when we're willing to do a little spring cleaning, the benefits are enormous. So far, we've been playing defense, making sure rules don't do harm. But what if we could play offense? What if we could use policy to actively steer all this amazing AI innovation towards solving our biggest public problems? A fantastic tool for this is something called a social impact bond. The easiest way to think about it is like a civic bounty. Basically, a government says, hey, we have this huge problem, then it partners with investors and philanthropists to create a big prize fund. Then they offer that prize to any company or lab that can actually solve the problem with their technology.
And this is where it gets really cool, because it creates this amazing four-way win. Let's say a city wants to fix its horrible traffic, so it works with investors to create a prize for an AI tool that can cut commute times. AI labs from all over compete to win. In the end, the winning lab gets the prize money, the investors get a nice return on their investment, the public gets a faster, less stressful commute, and the AI company has a brand new, proven product it can sell to other cities. It's a perfect way to align private incentives with the public good.
So here's the bottom line. We are in this unique and probably very brief window of opportunity. The rules that we write for AI over the next few years are going to set the stage for decades to come. And we have this rare moment of agreement from all sides that we need to be smart and careful about it. The time to act is right now.
So, let's just quickly recap the 3 big tools we have in our toolkit. First, make our laws adaptive. Use things like sunset and sunrise clauses to keep them fresh and relevant. Second, commit to doing those regular checkups on our old rules to clear out the clutter. And third, let's get proactive and use tools like social impact bonds to aim AI's incredible power at our biggest challenges.
And that really leaves us with one last, massive question to think about. AI is reshaping our world at a speed we've never seen before. The challenge for every single one of us is to figure out how to build a system of rules, of governance that can actually keep up. A system that helps us build a much better future, instead of just a more complicated present.